What is up, Eastern Oregon? This is Dodgy with EOAlive Sports, and today we're going to bring you a special edition of Wrestling Wednesdays. This is brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress right here in town. Go check out the showroom. The Daggett family is always involved in everything in this community when it comes to sports, including sponsoring this show so I can get the information to you and let you guys see these seniors and what's going on at LHS with all the sports, not just wrestling. Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Big Red Rocking Chair on Elm, off Adams in LaGrange. So this version of Wrestling Wednesdays, we're going to introduce you to a senior wrestler, and I'm going to have head coach Klel Carson. I mean, we've done it at least once or twice every year for the past 4 years. Klel, how are you?
Good. How are you? I'm
good, man. And then Carson Weimer, he's a senior wrestler at LaGrange. Carson, how you doing?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm ready for wrestling season. I get itchy like towards the end of football because football's a lot of work for me because we stream a lot of games and it's just there's a lot to it. And so I get ready for I don't necessarily like being indoors, but I like wrestling. So it's like I'm ready by the time this time of year comes around to transition into the gym and watch some wrestling. Cole, let's start with you. How's it looking? I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, it's we're pretty excited. We went to Estacada last weekend and had a great showing down there. Lots of placers and lots of kids in the finals, and kids just wrestled really, really well. And our young kids and the on the JV side of things too wrestled really well down there. And so yeah, I'm just excited about we go to Echo tomorrow with a group of kids, and then the Milenberg is this coming Friday and Saturday. So I'm just I'm really excited to see kind of how the season goes for everybody, and just to kind of see where we're at. We are real young. I think we have 3 total seniors. Three, yeah. So
wow.
Yeah, so we have. It's interesting because we have more kids out for the sport of wrestling than I think we've had in the last 4 or 5 years actually. But numbers wise, but we only have 3 seniors, which is pretty crazy.
Well,
we have 1 senior, I should say, that came out for his first time this year to get try wrestling out as a senior, which he's a brave soul. But
your senior year, yeah. Yes.
So he came out and he's a good kid, and I'm glad that he's there. Carter Sequest, he's a really good kid. But yeah, we just have Carson Weimer, and then Kenai. Yeah. As a senior, and Bobby Golzo. So yeah. And we were hoping to get them on, but maybe we can
we'll get them. Yeah. It seems to me like this senior class doesn't have a lot of people interested in sports across the board. I mean, when I look at male wise, the football team, we only had 6 seniors, and that's very low for football. I look at the basketball team, and there's only a couple seniors on the basketball team. I don't know about baseball. I haven't seen the numbers for that yet, but it kind of seems like this is like the, I don't know if that's a COVID thing or if it's just this class was, it ebbs and flows, like sometimes you have classes that just don't have a lot of kids that are interested in sports.
Yeah, this senior class was kind of like that too, like all the way through. I feel like, there was actually, like when they were coming through middle school, I coached middle school football, all these guys when they were 7th and 8th graders, and it was the same thing with them then. There just wasn't a lot of, they didn't have not big numbers, and they've just kind of been short on numbers all the way through all just that class.
What do you think causes that?
I don't know. I don't know what it is really. Just maybe the group. I mean, it's just how it is. Like it's. It's an interesting thing. I always tell people we get to recruit, right, kids to wrestle or whatever, but we don't really get to recruit. We kind of get what we get. You know what I mean? It's like you can't. I mean, you just have a pool of people, and we don't get to. It's not like we can offer money to get people to come in from other places.
Not like Marist Catholic.
Yeah, right. I mean, but it's not like that. So we kind of have to make. We have to make. The best thing we can out of what we get, and so we don't get to choose, or, pick, pull people in. So, yeah, it's just one of those classes. There's just not a lot of athletes, not a lot of kids. Carson, would you say that? I mean,
Yeah, since middle school and all throughout high school, we've just never had a big group in any sport. Baseball, football, it's just been me and a couple other people.
So. Yeah, I mean, I remember... I think the smallest football class, senior class, before this year that I've ever been a part of was 19.
Wow.
That was the smallest. I remember there was 22 one year. I have a poster hanging out in my studio with 22 seniors on it.
Yeah, that's all. Yep, it's. I know it's just kind of that's the number. Same with wrestling too. Even last year was a low numbers for seniors. But we still had quite a bit. Quite a few more. But yeah, it's a good group though. I would say that the kids that we do have, like all of them. I mean, that have stuck with it all the way through. I mean, Carson and Kenai and Bobby are all. I'm excited for them, their senior years, and I think they're all three going to have a good senior year, So, I mean, they're great. The ones we have are great,
That's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Carson? How did you get involved in wrestling originally?
Started very young. I think my dad just, got me into it, and I've stuck with it ever since, and never looked back.
What do you like about it?
It teaches you something that no other sport will teach you. And I've played football, and they say in football that you don't quite learn lessons that you do in any other sport. And being a wrestler, it's like, I know that wrestling it's different. It makes you a bit different from everybody else.
Well, I mean, it's a one-on-one sport, so the self-accountability is probably the biggest thing. And it's a one-on-one sport and also a team sport at the same time. So not only do you have to be accountable to yourself, you're 100% responsible for how well you do on that mat. Mm-hmm. But you also have to be accountable to your team because your team needs you to put points on the board. Mm-hmm. What about this year for you? It's your senior year. What weight do you wrestle?
175.
175, and this is your senior year. You've been wrestling since you were a kid. What's your goal? Like, what do you want out of this year?
Definitely to place top 3 at state. I think that's a goal for everybody on our team, and that's a goal that all of our coaches kind of drive into us. And yeah.
What about team-wise? What's your guys' goal as a team?
Same thing. I mean, we all just have one goal. All these other tournaments are just getting us ready for that tournament at the end of the road. So.
Well, I mean, I like to think about that, but you got a couple other pretty important tournaments in there, I think. I mean, Research is pretty dang important. Like, I don't know. I would almost rather win Research than a state championship myself.
Yeah, that's a pretty big tournament.
Because you're wrestling, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, and not just the teams that are, you can say, hey, I'm the best wrestler in the state when you're in Research. You can't necessarily say that if you win a state championship.
Yeah. No, it's a really tough tournament. Yeah, definitely doing well at that tournament kind of gives you a little boost of pride for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at the track record, we've only ever had, I think, one champion, right?
Well, we've had other champions too.
At Research?
I think about it, yeah.
How many? Not very many.
Not a lot. Yeah. Not like a handful, but
maybe
a handful.
Ryan Malone.
I mean, it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I don't have it on paper. So
recently, Parker won it in the last couple of years. Tommy won it last year. Yeah. Kenai and Bregan were in the finals last year, and then we had lots of placers. I have to think about it, but
I don't want you to like rank them like in importance. But which one's more important?
For me, it's always the state tournament.
Of course.
I'd always say. I mean, the thing is about Research is just it's a great tournament. Marty does they do a great job of putting that on and building the excitement for wrestling. Saying that's
fun.
But it is so fun, and I do love the Research Tournament of Champions. It's a great tournament, and you really are with all the top schools and the 6A and the 5A and the 4A. But even at that last year, like as a team, we were second, but then we were third at the state tournament, and we beat both Sweet Home and Kirk County. But then at the end of the year at the state tournament, those guys were because it's just kind of how the numbers work and the.
Well, you can only have a certain isn't it like less wrestlers in Research?
Yeah, it's a little different. So it becomes like you only score one wrestler per weight class, and you can only enter one weight class.
Right.
One per. With our state tournament, you can qualify 2 per weight, and then it's just based on your leagues, and it's a different kind of thing, And so even the Research tournament, is just another stepping thing to get next to get them ready for the state tournament, what we talk about all the time. But I do love the Research tournament. Yeah. I like the Classic a lot. I think if I was gonna, is because I love dual meets. I think it's the best. I think it's the best for wrestling and the best for just selling tickets. Grandma gets to watch everybody's from the Grand and hour and a half match or whatever, and then it's over. And it's exciting because you're not sitting in the gym and watching people wrestle that you might not know or whatever the case is. And so I do love the classic, and then state tournament probably my favorites for sure. But Reeser is a great one. Raleigh Lane's a great one. We go to some great really high level tournaments. This year especially we got some the Hawaii tournament we're going to in a couple weeks. We're going to Oahu, and we're wrestling in their version of the Reeser tournament for Hawaii. So they have kind of the same thing where they invite like all their best schools and they all come to one island and different divisions. Awesome. And so they're allowing us to wrestle in that this year. And so we're kind of fortunate to be in that, and so we'll see. It's when we went to Hawaii in the past, it's been, kind of aloha, and it's like no problem. I mean, I think we wrestled 76 matches. We went to Kona or something. We lost one match, but it won't be like, Oahu is going to be very competitive, very tough, like the Reeser tournament.
That's what we want.
That's what we want. Yeah.
That's why we wrestle over here, like in Idaho, right? Like we're trying to get the best matches. We 4A is not like super. I mean, you don't want to show all your cards to Sweet Home and Cook County. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're arguably the two teams that are going to compete with us over time. Like I would say every year. So you don't want to show all your cards, so we have to find competition, and that's why we wrestle, in these Idaho tournaments, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I look at it.
Yeah. Go to try to get the best competition that we can for sure. So, yeah.
What about other sports for you? Let's change it up a little bit. You play football, and what do you do you play baseball in the spring? What's your favorite sport?
Football, for sure.
Football? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Why?
I think about it like it is chess. You got all these pieces, and you're making a move, you're making these plays, and I think it's really strategic, and I've grown up playing it and loved it.
Just your game, huh? I played football because I was obviously. I'm not a small person, but it was never my favorite sport. Like I played it because my buddies played it, and I played it because I knew I could play it well. You know what I mean? But I've always been a baseball dude. Like baseball is mine. Like I love, and it's because I would have wrestled in high school. I really would have. I quit wrestling in 8th grade because I had to wrestle a girl, and I was just not gonna do it. And so that kind of like turned me off to wrestling, and I ended up playing basketball, but I definitely would have wrestled because I love the one-on-one. I was a pitcher in baseball. I want it just me, you know what I mean? Like I want it me and you, and we're gonna go mano-a-mano, and we're gonna figure out who's better. You know what I mean? What outside of the state tournament? What are you looking forward to? What tournament are you looking forward to this year, wrestling? Hawaii.
Yeah, that's
yeah, of course. You go get some poke bowls and some coconuts.
Yeah, no, that's the obvious one, but the classic's definitely close second.
Yeah, over research, huh?
Mm-hmm. I think just the setup, and it's a tournament style, but it's a fun tournament.
What about moving forward? What do you have plans to do after high school?
So I think I'm going to go to college and work on being a physical therapist.
Where? You applied anywhere yet?
No, I'm thinking U of O right now, or Montana Tech.
Montana Tech?
Mm-hmm.
Frontier Conference School, huh? Montana Tech. That's interesting. Are they a good school for physical therapist school?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I just know they're in the Frontier Conference. We play them in football. Do you want to try to play sports moving forward? If there's an opportunity.
Yeah, I definitely play football, and it'd be hard considering the season I had. A lot of adversity going through that. So I'd probably have to walk on or go JUCO for that or something.
Yeah, you don't have to give up on your dream, though. If it's something that you want to do, do it, man. That's what I say. Klel, compare this team this year to last year's team?
I think, it's interesting because like I was telling you earlier before the show, I feel like, we have a really, really, really good group of young kids.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of, 3 seniors, right? And then, but I think our depth is better this year than it was last year. I think like when I walked in the differences, I think like when I walked in the JV room last year, I'd, consoling people because they were getting beat and that kind of thing, where this year, like every time I walked over there, we were beating people, and so our younger kids are really, we have a really good group of freshmen. I think there might be 17 or 18 freshmen.
Wow.
And so it's a good group, number-wise, and they're just, they're very competitive kids that are just learning how to wrestle. It's a really good group of combined freshmen and sophomores, and so, I'd say we're almost, maybe don't have that top-end kid, but like a lot of really solid young kids that. So I think they're about even. We finished about in the same place, maybe a little bit better than we did last year at Estacada. We finished a little bit better there.
Second place at Estacada.
Second at Estacada, yeah. And we were down a few kids that didn't wrestle, and that kind of thing that would have, helped. I'm excited to see some of these kids, at the Milenburg this week, and hopefully we can kind of, seems like early on coming out of football with injuries and this and that, people playing, games with their families at Thanksgiving or whatever.
And it's hunting season.
It's hunting season, get injured, and so
hunting season.
Yeah, so trying to we get everybody back, I think, and if we can all keep everybody healthy, like it's gonna be a really fun year. I'm really looking forward to this year, actually. It's because they're working hard, and it's gonna be a good group. So.
Is it weird not having a kid on the team? Yeah, you've had a kid on the team for the last
like
6 years.
Yeah. It is interesting, like somebody asked me, will you coach next year, when Kai was, and I just thought, well, I haven't coached, the first 25 years that I coached. I didn't have any kids on the team, so, I've always coached wrestling, so, I love wrestling, and, it's good. In some ways it's kind of, it's kind of, I don't know, it's nice or not nice, or, what I mean? There's pros and cons to it. I loved having the boys around, obviously Braden and Kai, and I enjoyed that time, and it was irreplaceable, and a great experience, and it was always good. I was always glad to coach them and stuff, but I'm happy for them being at Eastern with Dustin, and up there at EOU, they both love it, and they're having a great experience up there, and it's nice that they're close, and I can still, these guys, I was able to, still able to watch them, and but. Yeah, it is a little different, but yeah, it's just there's not, so.
You did it for a long time before. It's probably not too much different.
Yeah.
What about one of the things I noticed this weekend was Bragan Anderson wrestled 120 at Estacada.
Yeah.
Is that a plan? I don't give away too much, but he wrestled 106 last year, didn't he?
Yeah,
that's two weight classes above.
Right. Yeah, they just grow sometimes. You know what I mean? And just just that's kind of how it goes. Sometimes those little guys will get as time goes along, and so
106 is hard to stay at. I know that.
Yeah, it is a tough weight. Just the Cole Rohans of the world, not too often, right? Like a lot of times they'll grow, and but yeah, I think he looks good at 120. I'm excited for him this weekend. The Milenburg always is kind of a good test for people too, and he'll get some good matches in. Obviously, everybody's going to, and. So yeah, I think it's a good weight for him. He'll go 120 this weekend, and so yep.
So out of the three state champs, right? It's four, three. We lost Ridge, we lost Kai, we kept Tommy.
Yeah.
One returning state champ, but we have a few guys that finished second in that mix. Is there like a particular weight where you're struggling? Like, I don't want to give away too much to other teams, but like, is there a particular weight where you really need somebody to step up or cut, or
we'll kind of fill out, like as we get closer, like dual meet time, like the first of the year, kids will start spreading out. Right now at the where we're at, like kids are kind of bunched in certain areas just because of the weight plans and how they work. You can only and it kind of, like last weekend we had certain kids like Noah Collins was in the finals, right, against Tommy at the same weight, because this is how their weight plan works.
And they won't wrestle in the same weight.
Yeah, those guys will all spread out, either they'll go up or down, or we'll try to, when we get in closer to like dual meets and stuff, and they'll spread out, kind of, that. And then we do, just because we have a young team, we have good young kids. Some of them, like find their way into the varsity lineup this year. Like some freshmen that are real tough. I think they're tough as for freshmen. And like sophomores, I mean, it's a pretty young team, but they're going to be competitive. So, yeah.
I was looking at some pictures the other day from like the 90s. What do I got to do to get them silver suits back?
I know. For a while,
dude.
I know.
Those things were amazing. These guys would love them.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
You'd look like it would be eye catching. Those silver hooded, tracksuits were they were shiny.
Space suits. These guys.
Oh my gosh,
the guys
they were so
the guys
nice.
of today, they call them the space suits. Yeah,
those things were sweet.
They were. We talk about gear. That's what Sean, Coach Belton. He's kind of our make us look good guy. And so
it's all about the swag.
Put a little note in there for Sean. I'll have him watch the show. But
let's get those back.
I have a lot of people and the singlets, right? Like people always tell me the silver bullets. They call them silver bullets or whatever. And when I was coaching in the 90s there. But
I would fall out of my chair if I showed up at a dual meet at LeGrand and they came running out in them suits to the eye of the tiger, literally. The nostalgia alone, you know what I mean? Like I think people would be, they'd probably go crazy about it, because I mean the late '90s, mid to late '90s, LeGrand wrestling was powerful. You know what I mean? It was very impactful on the community. That place used to fill up. It does now still, but like back then, I mean, you were a part of it. You saw what was going on, and it would just be like. I don't know. For people my age, it would be like, it would be amazing.
I know. I always love the conversations that people have, trying to talk about, and it's kind of whatever era you live through, or who's the tough guy, or you know what I mean. And I always tell in my answer to always those questions like who's tougher, or what how this and it's like I always think it's good if you're comparing yourself to yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean? If the tough guy you're trying to say, like, it's like, it's okay, hey, is this guy tougher than that guy, or this guy better? Could this guy beat that guy? And it's like, those are great conversations to have as people get older, and you know what I mean? It's but it's great to, like, we're not comparing ourselves to, somebody else. It's like to each other, it's like, hey, this guy could maybe beat that guy, or.
I mean, there's obviously like some that stick out that you can't argue, but most of them are like, hey, the late 90s, this guy was the best, or he's the best ever, but there's probably somebody that's wrestling today that could possibly beat him. You know what I mean? Anybody.
And those guys, like you lived then, I coached then, but then like this summer we had like a get together with, I think it was a class of 82 or something like that. It was like, oh man, I can't. Hawthorne, Rodney,
and
Kelly Edwilson.
The guy that was on the show a couple
Nelson.
Years ago, Alex. Yep.
Alex was a big. He was the guy that kind of put that together this summer. It was really cool. We had it down at the local, and it was kind of a.
I saw pictures of it.
Yeah, it was really neat, and so like that was a lot of fun, and those guys talking too, just to that group talking compared to the. Because the kids that live here locally now, it's like, Braden and Kai were around, and Shuckle and some of those guys. Yeah. It's the conversations they had, and they're not even, talking about the kids you're talking about in the 90s. And then when those guys are around, they talk about how and so it's just, I mean, it's just fun. I mean, it's all good, and it's a great tradition, and it's great, like, culture, and, and they're just all great people, that's the big thing always for me, and like Carson, like that's what I see, like, regardless, like he's a great person, and like, I don't know, just fun. It's cool. So
I mean, I'll single out a little group. I don't think we'll ever see a group like I called them Death Row, 165 up.
They were tough, man.
With Parker, that run from Parker up, I don't think you'll see that many guys that are that good in a straight, all the way up through heavyweight. I mean, that's so rare. You know what I mean? Like, those guys rarely lost. If we got to 165, we're winning out pretty much the rest of those weights every duel.
Yeah. Those guys were, that was a great group, and it was interesting though. Like when that group got done, everybody's like, "Oh, this, that was fun," But then the years prior or following that, like those kids, man, like. I don't even know.
Livingston.
All those kids.
Braden was right there.
Yeah, the group that was like, Josh, Josh Collins, and that 23, is that when they graduated?
Yeah, Bryson Penaloza.
Yeah, that was the only group. They never lost a duel in high school. So their class, you think about, like, people forget, like, they won, like, every duel. I mean, they were the 106 pounders, like, that grew out of that, like Bryson and, those kids. But then, like the Kerrs and, you know what I mean? You think about, like, they never lost a duel, like, all the way,
all the way through high school.
Ridge was in Kai's class when I figured it all out. It all runs together, but you know what I mean? Like, have this. I never even thought about that until, but they never lost a duel.
Wow.
And they had one COVID year, so that was kind of weird, but, but 3 years where that's crazy, So they won with Parker's group. They were the little guys, and then as they got older, they just, that was a great group
COVID year would have been your 8th grade year, right? Yeah, you would have been an 8th grader. Let's get you one more question before we get out of here. There's 3 seniors. Mm-hmm. What's going to be the biggest challenge as leaders on the team? I mean, you guys got to, you have to take charge and show the way. How many wrestlers are there? 50, 60?
40
something. Yeah. So you got 3 seniors. What do you think the biggest challenge is going to be, being shorthanded with upperclassmen? I mean, obviously some juniors can step up, but I look at it as it's the seniors' role to show the younger guys what they need to do. How's that look with only 3 of you?
Yeah, my freshman and sophomore year, I had leaders that helped me. I had Cole, just older dudes, Jarrett.
Yeah.
And that's definitely going to help me, Kenai, and Bobby. And I think there's already kind of a respect thing that we have going on. And I think that was there, like, the day they came into the wrestling room, the first day. But just keeping them in line and, keeping them, going is a thing all of us are pretty good at. Kenai and me, I would say, we're the leaders for the football team, and I feel like that translates pretty well into wrestling for sure.
Good. And Klel, what do you think your biggest challenge is going to be this year, like for this wrestling team? Like, maybe not on the mat, but just overall.
I don't know. I feel good about, like, the kind of kids that we have up there, the people that they are, how they're doing in school and this kind of stuff. That stuff's going to be all good. Wrestling wise, just like the consistency.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you have younger kids, it's like very inconsistent sometimes, they haven't quite figured out, how that just consistency. And so that'll be the thing, the challenge, I think, that we got to kind of, overcome, I guess, or, as we face adversity, in the matches and stuff. So
this Saturday, right? Or is it Friday, Saturday?
Friday. So
Saturday.
yeah, wrestling.
What time? Tell the people.
Yeah, Meilenberg starts wrestling at 1 o'clock on Friday this year, which we moved it back so we don't have to wrestle till midnight this year, hopefully. And then Saturday morning at 9. This is when the wrestling will start.
And usually they do the finals at about, like, in the evening, right?
Yeah, I think it could be a little bit earlier this year because we're pushing everything back. So maybe, I don't know, it's really difficult, right? But maybe 3 or 4 be the finals, and we'll wrestle right through. It won't be the set time. So just whenever it comes up in the tournament, get teams home and the roads and all that stuff. So
yeah, awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys. Wrestling Wednesdays. LeGrand High School Wrestling head coach Klel Carson. Senior wrestler Carson Weimer. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to getting to some matches, taking some pictures, and following along. I'll definitely be, at the big matches. I try to. I'm a one-man team, so it's like kind of, trying to spread myself out between all these different sports. But I'm excited to follow you guys, and let's go win a state championship.
Hey, thanks for everything, Dazzy, all the time.
Eastern Oregon, LeGrand Wrestling, we're ready. This team was 3rd at state last year, and gonna try to make a run and get past Sweet Home and Crook County. Man, that's the goal, right? I mean, they were the 2 teams that were in front of us last year. They're in the coaches poll comes out, and Crook County's ahead of us. Did they put Pendleton ahead of us too? No, just Sweet Home and Crook County. Okay, yeah. But Pendleton's going to be tough this year too. I mean, from the looks of it.
In some rankings they have them at 3rd, and we're 4th or 5th. So and the coaches poll I think was a little different, but yeah.
Eastern Oregon, we appreciate you. I'm Dodzy, and I'm out.